Revealed how one little girl's heartwarming request transformed a grumpy CEO's life forever. In the bustling suburbs of Chicago, where autumn leaves blanketed the sidewalks in hues of gold and crimson, Harold sat in his boardroom, the weight of his tailored suit heavy on his shoulders. At 45, he was the embodiment of corporate power, a man whose ambition had spurred his rise through the ranks but, like a crashing wave, had pulled him further from the warmth of human connection. His employees floated around him like shadows, each draped in their struggles, unseen and unheard. Little did he know, a shift was about to begin, a shift that would rattle his very core. On the other side of town, in a humble apartment complex, 8-year-old Mia was a spark of sunlight. With her oversized coat and mismatched shoes, she defied the taunts about her second-hand clothes. Instead of responding in bitterness, Mia often offered her packed lunch to friends who had even less. A resilience coursed through her that contrasted sharply with Harold's cold demeanor. She had the heart that was missing from his life. Their worlds collided at a community volunteering event, where smiles masked struggles. Harold reluctantly donned a smile, pushing through his discomforts amidst giggles and chatter. Suddenly, a small figure broke through the laughter. Mia approached him with unwavering sincerity. Her eyes sparkled, a universe of hope within them. She stood tall for someone so tiny, her voice ringing clear. "Can you promise to do one act of kindness every week?" Harold's heart skipped a beat. That simple request sent a tremor through him, forcing shadows of his past to flicker in his mind. It was then he realized the hollowness echoing around him. Could he, this powerful CEO, who devoted his life to profit margins and market shares, really commit to an act of kindness? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That question echoed around him as he battled through a series of failures, each misguided donation or poorly timed move pulling him deeper into a realm of humility he had long ignored. The struggles of his employees began seeping into his consciousness, a nagging voice urging him to acknowledge the humanity he'd overlooked. It was uncomfortable, this vulnerability. Each failure felt like a chisel breaking him open, exposing layers he thought were sealed tight. Just as Harold began to peel away his emotional wall, life hurled a curveball his way. Faced with consequences from decisions of his past, he realized he could no longer pretend that the gloss of his success could shield him from pain. The strained relationship with his estranged daughter weighed heavily, and he found himself unable to shake it off. Could he really become the man Mia believed he could be? Or would the costs of ambition ultimately break him? As he grappled with these questions, the answer was shrouded in uncertainty, leaving readers anxious to see if Harold would rise to the occasion or remain trapped in his self-imposed exile from the light of genuine connection. The sun was setting over Chicago, casting warm tones across the city skyline, but in Harold's heart, it felt as if a storm was brewing. Every tick of the clock echoed in his mind, reminding him of the promise he had made to a child. Doing one act of kindness each week seemed so simple and yet so daunting. Back in his pristine office, Harold sat behind his grand desk, the very symbol of his power, yet he could hardly focus. He reflected on Mia's hopeful little face, eyes shining with belief, as she had blurted out her request amidst the chaos of adulthood. "What if I fail?" he thought, a pang of anxiety striking him. The idea of letting down such a pure soul twisted something deep inside him. He remembered his daughter, Evelyn. Just a few years back, she had been the light of his life, full of laughter and secrets shared over ice cream. But ambition had pulled him away from family dinners, soccer games, and the simple joys of being present. Now, all he felt was a sense of regret, an aching void filled with missed moments. Harold picked up his phone, hours later, after wrestling with himself, and hesitated as he typed a text to Evelyn. They hadn't spoken in months. His fingers trembled as he pressed send, hoping she might respond. "Can we talk?" The message felt heavy, laced with vulnerability. Meanwhile, Mia bounded home, her spirit undimmed by the world around her. She recounted the day to her mother, her voice bursting with excitement. "Mom, I asked the CEO to promise to be kind, and he said he would." Her mother smiled softly, marveling at her daughter's unyielding faith in humanity. To Mia, people were good until proven otherwise, a striking contrast to the adults who often resign to cynicism. The following morning, Harold awoke with a strange resolution. He had made no progress in coming up with a plan for kindness, but it didn't matter, he would just take the leap. During his routine drive to work, Harold passed by a small park where children played freely. Memories flooded back, his daughter swinging on the swings, laughter cascading like music through the air. Today, without thinking, he pulled the car over to the side and decided to pull on his suit jacket and join them, fueled by a haunting longing. He approached a group of kids flying kites, their joy infectiously bright, and he felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. With each smile and giggle, the pressure in his chest eased slightly. A little boy shouted, "Hey, mister! Want to help us?" Time stood still as Harold knelt down, helping to untangle a kite string, laughter bouncing back and forth. He hadn't felt this light-hearted in years. That evening, a reply came from Evelyn, almost taking him by surprise. "Sure, Dad." "When?" Harold's heart raced. Was this it? The beginning of a new chapter? Could one child's request unlock the door to rebuilding his own family? But what if it turned into another disappointment? The uncertainty loomed over him like a dark cloud. As he prepared for the meeting with Evelyn, the blend of hope and anxiety stirred within him. Would they truly connect, or were they forever trapped in the shadows of their past? The moment loomed closer, and underneath the surface, both excitement and fear bubbled forth, an emotional storm about to break. What if this one act of kindness could change everything for Harold? Would it be the courage he needed to face his estranged daughter, or would it be just another attempt at reconciliation, destined to fail? The weight of both possibilities tugged at him tightly as he pondered the choices ahead. The sun peeked through Harold's office blinds, casting sharp lines across his desk. The light felt foreign, illuminating papers that held little significance next to the personal battle raging within him. He stared at the message from Evelyn, replaying her 3 simple words in his mind. "Sure, Dad." When? As he prepared for their meeting, a knot twisted in his stomach. What if he stumbled over his words? What if she never wanted to see him again? The thoughts spiraled, each one more daunting than the last. He caught himself tapping his fingers anxiously on the table, flashes of their past flooding his memory. That last argument before she left the house, her tear-streaked face, and the heavy silence that filled the air long after she closed the door. With his heart pounding, he glanced at the clock. It was almost time. Harold stood up, squaring his shoulders, ready to brave whatever awaited him. Walking out of the office, he felt as if he were walking toward a battlefield. His mind was a whirlwind, but then he remembered Mia's innocence and hope. She believed in the good in people. Maybe, just maybe, he could nourish that light in his own relationship too. The cafe chosen for their meeting was bustling with noise, laughter, clanging cups, and the aroma of fresh coffee hung heavy in the air. Harold's heart raced as he found a small table near the window, his leg bouncing nervously. He watched people passing by, families with little kids, couples holding hands, and he felt a pang of longing for what could have been a small family of his own at the table. And then, there she was. Evelyn walked in, her face unfamiliar yet heartbreakingly familiar all at once. She had grown up, yet those deep-set eyes mirrored her mother's. A delicate tension filled the space between them as she approached, her expression a mix of curiosity and caution. "Hey, Dad," she said softly, sliding into the seat opposite him. The softness in her voice made his heart ache. "Thanks for coming," he answered, forcing a smile that felt foreign to his lips. There was a moment of silence, heavy and loaded with unspoken words. Harold searched for something to say, anything to break the ice, but his thoughts evaded him. "How have you been?" he finally managed, regretting the banal question immediately. Evelyn shrugged, her eyes flickering with emotions he couldn't quite decipher. Busy with college life, I guess. There was that same guardedness he remembered, the protective barrier she had put up against him. I'm really sorry about everything. About how things ended up between us, he said, trying to push past the awkwardness. Her eyes went wide, surprise etching her features. Apology accepted, Dad, but it's going to take more than that. Her voice was steadier than his, grounded and firm. The sheer honesty stung, and for a moment, Harold felt exposed, as if his soul was laid bare before her. I know you're hurting, and I want to fix this, he replied earnestly, his heart racing. I want to be a part of your life. Evelyn's expression softened for just a moment, revealing a glimpse of vulnerability. It's not easy, you know. You miss so much. I know, he whispered. But I want to change that. I made a promise to someone, and someone? She raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Mia, a little girl who believes I can be better. I thought, if I can help her, maybe I can help us too. Harold's voice cracked slightly, the weight of his intentions hanging in the air, laced with hope. Evelyn leaned back, crossing her arms. You really want to change? I do, he said, his voice firm, even though doubt lingered in his mind. A flicker of emotion passed through her eyes, a hesitation that spoke volumes. They had taken the first step, but the road to forgiveness stretched far and wide ahead of them. As they continued to exchange cautious words, Harold felt something shift inside him, a glimmer of hope igniting where there had been darkness. But as he lingered on the idea of reconciliation, newly reborn questions danced in his mind. Would his promise to Mia and newfound resolve be enough to truly mend the rift between him and Evelyn? Just then, his phone buzzed on the table, breaking the moment of intimacy. A notification popped up, something that made his blood run cold. Mia had sent a photo smiling brightly on a playground, holding up a sign that read "Be kind." The message beneath it glared back at him. You're still going to keep your promise, right? Harold's heart raced. What did this mean for him? Would this act of kindness be the key or a distraction from the confrontation with his daughter? He looked back up at Evelyn, the weight of his past still heavy, yet the promise of what could be melting at the edges. What did this new chapter of their lives hold for each of them, and would Harold's determination to fulfill Mia's wish truly help him find his daughter again? Harold's eyes darted back to the screen, the photo of Mia lingering in his mind. Her radiant smile sparked something deep within him, igniting a blend of guilt and motivation. Underneath the protective barrier he had built over the years lay a father aching to make things right, not just with Evelyn but with himself. He dropped his phone onto the table, the screen facing down, almost as if hiding the evidence of his commitment. Evelyn noticed his distraction. Dad? You okay? He focused back on her, noting the concern in her tone. Why did he hesitate? Was it fear, or was it something deeper? The silence between them felt heavy again, a weight that pushed down on both their hearts. Yeah, he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm okay. Just what? She pressed gently, her curiosity peeking through the walls they had both built. I didn't realize how much I wanted this, he admitted, the truth spilling out. I want to be your dad again. Really be there for you. Evelyn's expression shifted, her arms uncrossing slightly. The vulnerability he saw a moment before started to surface again. It's been a long time, Dad. I'm not sure how to trust you. Her honesty cut deep, and he fought to keep his voice steady. I get that. Trust takes time. But I'm willing to fight for that time. For you. She regarded him carefully, weighing his words as if they were fragile. Do you even know my life anymore? He nodded slowly, feeling the sting of his ignorance. No, I don't. I want to learn about it. What you love, what you're struggling with, everything. I've missed so much. The tension shifted again, but it was no longer stifling. It was charged with potential. Evelyn leaned in, curiosity sparking in her eyes. What do you want to know? What about college? What are you studying? As of right now, psychology, she replied, a hint of pride creeping into her voice. I want to help people. Understand them, I guess. Sounds like a noble pursuit, Harold said, surprised by how genuinely interested he felt. I hope so, she shrugged, but there was a flicker of light in her eyes that made his heart swell. Harold found himself smiling for the first time in a long while. It felt genuine. What do you want to do with it? I'm not sure. Maybe go into counseling? Or work with kids someday, she said, her tone a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Her cheeks reddened slightly. I've always wanted to help kids like Mia. The mention of Mia caused another pang in his chest. She has been really helpful to me, you know? Evelyn tilted her head slightly, her interest piqued. How so? She asked. Just I see the world differently through her eyes, he said, awareness dawning on him. She reminds me that kindness exists, and that it's okay to be vulnerable. Harold watched Evelyn's eyes soften, and he grasped at that moment, an ember of connection beginning to spark. Maybe you and Mia should meet, he suggested tentatively. The thought stirred butterflies within him. Would she be willing to take that step? Evelyn's brows knitted in thought. You really think that would be a good idea? I think it would be beautiful. You both can share those nurturing instincts. She opened her mouth, but the words didn't come easily. Instead, tension began to coil back up in her. Why do you care so much about Mia? Because she's given me hope, he replied, leaning in earnestly. She inspires me. She makes me feel like I can embrace the parts of myself I lost. Evelyn's lips pressed together tightly, her eyes clouded with uncertainty. She seems so perfect and hey, Harold interrupted softly, you don't have to compare yourself to her. You're both amazing in your own way. The room around them seemed to dim, the cafe bustling away, yet the two of them locked in this moment of quiet transformation. The warmth lingered in the air, a hint of something new blooming between them, but just then, Harold's phone buzzed again. A new message from Mia. He picked it up, heart in his throat. The words upset the delicate balance they were building. Please don't let me down. The stakes felt higher, the pressure eating at the walls he was trying to build with Evelyn. He looked up, meeting his daughter's gaze with trepidation. I need to keep my promise to her, Ev. I know, she interjected, sadness creeping back. But I just don't want to get hurt again. Harold felt the weight of that doubt, heavy against his chest. Would his promise to Mia draw him away from the new chance blossoming with Evelyn, or could it weave them together in ways he couldn't foresee? Could he promise both love and hope to these two girls without losing himself? His heart raced with uncertainty, the questions hanging thick in the air. What would he choose? And how would that decision bind or separate them all in the end? As Harold gazed at Evelyn, the weight of her words weighed on him. He could feel the tension bouncing between them, a thread of hope caught in the pull of their past. Evelyn looked away, staring out the cafe window. The busy street beyond mirrored the chaos in his mind. Dad, you have to understand, she began hesitantly, her voice trembling. It's not just about you making promises to Mia or even to me. It feels like you're trying to rewrite the past. And I can't just jump into that. He swallowed hard, grappling with the truth embedded in her statement. She was right. Life couldn't be rewound and replayed, and he didn't want either of them to feel like characters in his story. I want to change, Ev. I just don't know how. Then start by being honest, she replied, her gaze still focused outside. What if Mia gets hurt? What if the things you promised her put you in a tough spot again? There was a sharpness in her tone that cut deeper than he expected. I don't want that either, he said quietly. But I can't abandon her. She needs someone. I want to be that someone. In that moment, he saw a flicker in Evelyn's eyes. It wasn't only anger but a glimmer of understanding. Perhaps she felt the weight of the burden he carried for Mia. What if you're not ready? She challenged, crossing her arms. What if you're just trying to fill a void? Because trust me, I've felt that kind of emptiness before. His heart sank. Was that all this was? He took a deep breath, looking into her eyes, seeking her trust, the delicate threads of their reconnection hanging by a thread. You think I'm trying to replace our past? I swear that's not it. I want to support Mia because I feel like she has shown me the way back to you. Evelyn's expression softened, yet remained guarded. You'd help her, but you wouldn't let me in. Think about it, Dad. Harold hung his head, acknowledging how far he had strayed from the father he longed to be. Days bled into weeks, filled with regret, and he was finally teetering on the edge of redemption. But he needed to show Evelyn that he was still intact, all the pieces, even the broken ones. I'm scared, too, he said, vulnerability creeping into his voice. I don't want to screw this up, Ev. I need you as much as you need me. Can we find a way to do this together? The hesitance hung thick like fog, but she let out an almost imperceptible sigh, weighing her options. He could see her mind working, caught between hope and doubt. I don't know, Dad, she said quietly, glancing at her phone as if expecting a message. I just don't want to get hurt again. Neither do I, he confessed, a sense of urgency tingling at the back of his mind. He leaned in closer, the bustle around them fading into the background. What if we start simple? I'll help Mia, we can figure that out together, and then we'll worry about us. I just want a chance to prove I can do this. Evelyn's lips twitched, a hint of a smile wavering on the edges. You think that's enough? Maybe, he said slowly, but I need you to be part of that. I can't build this without you. The tension lingered, charged with possibility. They had reached a fork in the road. Just then, his phone buzzed once more. The screen flashed with another message from Mia. Please. I'm counting on you. Remember that. He gripped the phone tightly, heart racing. Could he balance Mia's expectations with rebuilding the trust with his daughter? Evelyn noticed his anxiety, her eyes searching his face for answers. What is it? Harold hesitated, unsure whether he should share the weight of the message or protect her from the turmoil. It felt like a crossroads, revealing the truth about Mia could make or break everything they were building. He took a deep breath. It's a reminder that I need to dive in with both feet. I want to keep my promise, but I want to do it right. Are you with me? The moment hung between them, electric and raw. Would Evelyn stand by him as he stepped into this chaotic world of connections, or would the chasm of the past pull them apart once more? Harold felt the humidity in the cafe swell with unspoken words as their eyes locked. Time seemed to freeze for a heartbeat. The world outside pressed against the glass as he wrestled with the choice he had to make. The message from Mia echoed in his mind, but the weight of Evelyn's gaze anchored him to this moment. Dad, just tell me what you're thinking, Evelyn said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. He appreciated her patience, yet it only deepened the pit in his stomach. I don't want to hurt Mia, he muttered, his gaze drifting down to the table. But I don't want to abandon you again either. That's the last thing I want. Then don't. Just don't, she insisted, frustration creeping back into her voice. Be honest with both of us. If Mia's expecting something from you that you can't give, just say it. A sharp breath caught in his throat. It felt easier to say the truth aloud than to live it. I don't know if I can be the father both of you need. I've spent so long being absent. What if I fail her? You. I don't want to fall apart at the seams again. Evelyn's eyes softened. You're not the only one scared here. I've seen what it's like when you're not there. I was left picking up the pieces. He felt the old wounds, the guilt prodding at him once more. I know, but thinking about it all just brings memories I'd rather forget. I want to move forward, not backward. She exhaled slowly, as if the very act of breathing was a way to release the emotions weighing her down. Moving forward doesn't mean erasing the past, Dad. It means learning from it. What if she was right? What if this was a chance to weave their broken lives back together again? The thought lit a flicker of hope in his chest, but doubt swiftly followed. Can we really build something meaningful from the ashes? What if all this hope ruins us again? He searched her eyes for a glint of reassurance. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, but we have to start somewhere. Evelyn reached out, placing her hand over his. Maybe we hold each other accountable. The warmth of her touch melted away the chill of anxiety. They exchanged a moment of silent understanding, the words unsaid but palpable in the air. Okay, he said finally, nodding slowly. I'll try. Good, she replied, a trace of that elusive smile returning. But don't sell yourself short, alright? You may stumble, but it's okay. Just don't shut me out. His heart raced at her words. He wanted to believe they could forge this path together. But the nagging worry still loomed. Just then, Evelyn's phone buzzed. She pulled it out with a frown. It's a group message from Mia's school, a fundraiser. Her brow furrowed, tension returning as she read on. Fundraiser? Harold echoed, instantly curious. Was this another obligation that would test his resolve? Yeah, and they need volunteers. Her voice was steady, but he could see the anxiety in her clenched jaw. It says it's essential for building community. But what if it gets complicated? What if Mia sees me helping and then thinks I'll abandon her once this is over? Harold leaned closer, drawn into her worry. Maybe helping out could be a way to bond with her. You could ease her fears. She lifted her gaze, hesitance creeping back. But what if I can't do it? What if it only makes things worse? As he contemplated her question, the pressure of choice weighed heavily on him. Could one small act nurture hope or trigger further disconnect? Evelyn, he said gently, leaning forward, what if this is the opportunity we need? We work together for her. For us. What do you think? Evelyn's eyes glimmered with uncertainty, but there was something else there too, an inkling of willingness to try. Maybe, she began slowly, contemplating. Just then, his phone buzzed again. A new message from Mia read, Are you coming to help? I miss you both. The words struck him deep. Could this be the opening they needed? Looks like Mia wants us together, he said softly. As the reality of the moment settled around them, both felt the stirring of hope mingled with fear. In that intersection of longing and anxiety, what would they decide? Would they step into that unfamiliar territory? Let us figure this out, Evelyn breathed, her voice laced with tentative anticipation. But for Harold, the question lingered in the air, was stepping out of the past truly possible, or were they both destined to repeat old patterns? The cafe buzzed with the sound of clinking cups and soft chatter, but for Harold and Evelyn, it faded into the background. Time felt both rushed and suspended as they processed Mia's message, an unexpected bridge between them and a path to the future. I guess we should reply, Evelyn said, a flicker of determination lighting her features. Harold could see her grappling with various emotions, uncertainty bouncing around her like a tightly wound spring. Yeah, we can't leave her hanging, he agreed, feeling a mix of excitement and dread at the prospect of acknowledging Mia's invitation openly. Would this really help them heal? Evelyn's fingers hesitated above the screen. What do we even say? I don't want her to get the wrong idea. They both knew that words would wield power. Each letter could either lift them or plunge them back into the chaos of the past. Why not tell her we're coming? He suggested, trying to keep his voice steady, hiding his own doubts. Let her know we're in this together. With a deep breath, Evelyn typed quickly. We'll be there, Mia. Can't wait to help. The moment she hit send, he felt a rush of warmth envelop them. Could this small act really be the first step to binding their family together? Now, we just have to figure out what we're going to do, Evelyn said, her brow furrowed again. He looked around the cafe, his mind racing with possibilities. Maybe we could plot out our plan. Start small. We could handle a few arrangements, set up tables, things like that. Simple enough, she responded, the corner of her mouth curving upwards slightly. Yeah, but it's a start, right? Evelyn nodded, but their moment of connection was quickly disrupted by a thought that lingered in both of their minds. What if Mia saw them as a temporary fix? What if volunteering felt like an emotional band-aid rather than real commitment? As they gathered their things to leave, Harold noticed a couple sitting nearby. The woman was animated, illustrating something with her hands, while the man leaned in, nodding attentively. There was laughter between them and easy joy that he longed for. Would he ever find that with his own family? You okay? Evelyn prompted, nudging him slightly. Harold forced a smile, trying to conceal the pang of envy. Just thinking about how we used to be, that connection feels so far away. Maybe it can be close again, she replied softly. We just have to believe we're worth the work. Belief weighed heavily on him, but she was right. Growth wouldn't he come fast. It would be messy and unhidden, just like the truth he had to face. As they stepped outside into the hazy summer afternoon, a flood of warmth bathed them, but Harold felt a chill creeping in. Evelyn, about everything I said earlier, I do want to be there for Mia, but I can't help but think I'll mess things up again. Then let us make sure we keep each other accountable. We're in this together, remember? Just don't shut me out. Her words echoed in his mind, a reminder that their paths were meant to intertwine again. They walked slowly towards the school, the sun dipping low on the horizon. An uncertainty danced around them, but so did sparks of hope. The closer they got, the more Harold realized that this moment could reshape their lives. What if they could genuinely reconnect with Mia? What if this was the beginning of something beautiful? As they approached the school's entrance, Harold's heart pounded. He wanted to be that father she needed, to show Mia he was not just a figure in her life but an active part of it. But doubts still swirled. Dad, promise me something. Evelyn halted, seriousness threading through her tone. Promise me you won't hide from this. He hesitated, questioning if he could fully commit. I promise to try. But can we deal with whatever happens next together? Evelyn smiled, the tension easing just the slightest bit. Together. As the door to the school swung open, the chatter of kids and parents enveloped them. Would that first step lead to unexpected joys or revelations that could catapult them forward? With a shared glance, they stepped inside, ready for the unknown. The possibilities were endless, but the reality they were walking into was about to change everything. The school hallways were brightly lit, alive with energy. Children dashed past, their laughter a chorus of innocent joy, while parents stood in little clusters, exchanging stories and snippets of daily life. Harold felt like an outsider, a shadow lurking behind Evelyn. She had a confidence that he admired, but right now, he was too consumed by anxiety to mirror it. Mia should be around here somewhere, right? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Evelyn nodded, scanning the bustling crowd. Yeah, she usually hangs near the art room after school. As they moved through the throng, Harold caught sight of a familiar face, a tall figure, chatting easily with other parents. It was Mia's teacher, Ms. Thompson. Harold felt a pull of nostalgia but quickly suppressed it, turning his attention back to finding Mia. Look! Evelyn pointed down the corridor. In the distance, he spotted her. Mia's hair was a wild halo of curls, her backpack nearly as big as she was, and her face was lit with that infectious smile he remembered so well. It struck a chord deep inside him, reminding him of the warmth he had missed. Hey, Mia! Evelyn called. It was like a beacon, cutting through the noise. The girl's gaze snapped in their direction, widening in surprise. Mom! Dad! Mia's voice was filled with a mix of joy and disbelief as she darted toward them. Harold's heart raced, uncertainty battling excitement. Would she welcome him with open arms, or had he lost his place in her life forever? Mia reached them, and Evelyn knelt to embrace her tightly. We're here to help with your project, remember? Really? That's so cool. Mia beamed, slipping her arms around Evelyn's neck, then turning to Harold. Her eyes searched his face, and for a moment, he felt as if the world had faded away. Hi, Dad, she said shyly, but her smile stretched wide. The pure warmth of that moment melted some of the doubt clinging to him. Hey, Mia, he managed, emotions swirling inside him. Excited to get started? Definitely. We have so much to do, she exclaimed, her enthusiasm bursting like a firework, and he couldn't help but smile back. Evelyn and Mia quickly began to exchange ideas about their project, bubbling with plans and suggestions. Harold stood slightly apart, his heart swelling as he watched them. Their connection felt tangible, a thread of shared hopes weaving between mother and daughter. But he still felt like he was watching through a glass wall, separated from their world. After a few minutes, Mia turned to him, eyes sparkling with energy. Dad, you could help with the poster. You're really good at art, right? Harold's stomach sank. Art? He hadn't held a brush since high school, and he struggled even then. I guess I can try. The words caught in his throat. What if he made a mess of it? Then it's a plan, Mia announced, bouncing on her heels, pulling him back into her excitement. Evelyn interjected softly, You know, Harold, it's okay to feel shaky about this. Just think back to when we did those projects together before everything changed. Her gentle words were a lifeline, easing the pressure in his chest. Yeah, we were a pretty good team back then. Mia bounded ahead, leading them towards the art room. It felt like a journey into the unknown, but also a step forward. Just remember to be present, Harold, Evelyn whispered as they followed Mia. We can't undo the past, but we can build from here. Let us be fully here for her. Her encouragement dug deeper than he expected, and with each step, a fist of worry began to loosen. As they entered the art room, the vivid displays of color greeted them, paint splatters, glitter, and drawings that told 1,000 stories. Harold could hardly believe the joy blooming inside him. Maybe, just maybe, they were on the cusp of something new. As they gathered supplies, Harold caught Mia's eye, and for a split second, he saw the hope reflected back at him, the hope of a future built on new memories. But with excitement came a gnawing fear. What if they hit obstacles he couldn't foresee? Are you ready to make some magic? Mia asked, her eyes wide. In that moment, Harold realized they were not just stepping into an art project. They were stepping into a possibility. One that could bind them closer together, if only they kept reaching for it. As the familiar scent of paint enveloped him, a sense of purpose began to emerge. Maybe this was the chance to rewrite their story. But as he picked up a paintbrush, uncertainty clung to him like a shadow. What if he couldn't live up to their expectations? Evelyn's hand brushed against his arm, grounding him. We've got this together. Taking a deep breath, Harold dipped his brush into a vibrant shade, determined to transform his fears into colors on paper. As strokes hit the blank canvas, a wave of realization washed over him. This moment was just the beginning, a test of their hope and commitment. Little did he know, as they dove into art together, deeper truths were about to emerge that could redefine their family forever. What would the canvas reveal? Harold dipped his brush into the bright blue paint, feeling the cool texture slide against the bristles. He hesitated over the canvas, his heart thumping wildly. It felt surreal, standing there beside Mia, ready to create something together. Her energy was contagious, wrapping around him like a cozy blanket, yet nerves still crept up on him. Come on, Dad, Mia urged, her fingers turning a deep shade of orange as she expertly mixed shades. Add some clouds. They'll look amazing. He forced a smile, dipping the brush again. Clouds, right? Okay. Hesitant strokes formed fluffy shapes above the vibrant colors Mia had already laid down. Evelyn moved quietly to the side, observing their work. Her face glowed with pride and something deeper, a shared moment that seemed to bridge the years apart they had endured. You two are such a great team, she said softly. Mia's eyes sparkled with delight as she jumped in. Look, Mom. Isn't it so pretty? Absolutely, Evelyn replied, her voice filled with warmth. You're both doing a fantastic job. Yet, even as they painted, a heaviness pulled at Harold. What if it really wasn't good enough? What if he knocked that joy down to the ground with his uncertainty? He cast a side glance at Evelyn. What if I mess it up? The question slipped past his lips before he could stop it. Every stroke matters, she said, her eyes steady and encouraging. Just be true to the moment. Taking a shaky breath, he focused back on the canvas. Just be true to the moment. Simple words, yet they held the truth he needed. With renewed determination, he began layering colors, letting his brush follow Mia's enthusiasm. As the colors mixed, forming a swirling sunset, laughter bubbled between them. Oh! We need stars. Can we add stars? Mia exclaimed, her exuberance infectious. Stars? At sunset? Harold chuckled, his spirit lifting with her playful spirit. Sure! Why not? They both laughed together, a sweet sound that curled around them, melting the earlier tension. Their hands moved fast, uncertain, giddy with idea crafts. The canvas started to fill with life, each stroke telling a story, echoing in colors of hope, healing, and connection. And for the first time in what felt like forever, Harold felt free. Wow, look at it! Mia squealed, arm covered in paint as she stepped back to admire their joint creation. It's amazing, Dad! He took a moment to stand beside her, staring at what they had accomplished. The canvas was a chaotic but beautiful depiction of their shared experience, just like their family. It really is, he said, tears pricking at the corners of his eyes. I didn't think I could do this. Of course, you can. You're my dad. It was the simplest sentence, yet it opened something inside him. He was her dad, a title he feared he was unworthy of. But here he was, creating art and memories with her. They stepped back, wiping paint from their hands on their aprons, and Harold glanced at Evelyn. She looked at him with pride and something deeper, a sense of hope. It ignited something inside him, the realization that maybe they could all heal. Mia suddenly squealed in delight. Let us add our handprints too. It'll be our family mural. Great idea! Harold grinned, then turned serious. But what if it doesn't turn out well? Evelyn interjected with an understanding smile. It doesn't matter how it turns out, Harold. What matters is you're creating this memory together. That's what will last forever. With a new sense of purpose, Harold dipped his hand into the paint, the coolness sending a shiver through him. He pressed it against the canvas, watching as Mia mirrored his action, their handprints merging. This was a bold declaration of their new beginning, a promise etched in color and love. In that moment, with the weight of the world slipping from his shoulders, Harold truly felt like a dad again. Not just a visitor in Mia's life, but a part of it, her confidant, her ally. As they stepped back to admire their near-finished work, the dawn of something transformative began to flicker in the air. But just as Harold began to breathe easy, a shadow crossed Mia's face. She looked toward the door, worry knitting her brow. Dad, what if the others don't like it? Her innocent question hit him hard. Their world painted with beauty, yet outside these walls, harsh realities awaited. Would the world recognize what they had built? Would it ever truly accept Harold as part of her life again? Feeling a twist of anxiety, Harold glanced at Evelyn. They were on the brink of something new, but there were still fears to face. Let us focus on this moment, for now, he said, squeezing Mia's shoulder. And we'll handle the rest together, right? What would it take to ensure that this feeling lasted? His heart raced with possibilities. Each stroke had been a step forward. But uncertainty loomed ahead like a dark cloud. As they peered at the colors swirling before them, a simple truth began to echo in Harold's mind. Just how far would this journey take them, and what other surprises awaited? As they stepped back from the canvas, taking in their colorful masterpiece painted handprints of blue, orange, and gold, Harold felt a wave of warmth rush over him. He was here, sharing this moment with Mia and Evelyn, crafting not just art but memories. Each brush stroke symbolized something deeper, a connection rekindled between them all. Look at what we did! Mia exclaimed, her excitement echoing in the now vibrant room. The chaotic beauty of the mural mirrored their journey, imperfect yet beautiful. It's incredible, Evelyn agreed, her voice tinged with awe. This is a representation of us now. Harold smiled, feeling the tension within him ease. As vibrant colors swirled on the canvas, so too did the love and hope swirling among them. It was messy, just like life, but it was beautiful in its own way. But then, echoing through Harold's heart, the tension shifted as Mia's face flickered from joy to worry. What will everyone else say? She whispered, glancing back at the door as if expecting judgment to walk in any second. Harold knelt beside her, forcing her to meet his gaze. Sweetheart, this is our creation, our story. It doesn't matter what others think. What matters is that we are together, right here. His voice held a steadiness he hoped would reassure her. But what if they don't like it? His heart twisted at the innocent fear behind her question. You know, when I thought about what Mia asked me about being kind, I didn't just think about how I could paint, or what I could create. I realized that part of kindness is being proud of who you are and what you create. That it's okay if not everyone gets it. Evelyn nodded in agreement, leaning closer to Mia. Your joy in this means everything. What matters most is that you love it. And I love it. Mia's tentative smile slowly returned, but Harold could still see the worry creeping in her bright eyes. What if my classmates make fun of it? Her voice clung to a fragile thread of apprehension. Then we'll face it together, Harold said confidently. You're not alone in this. You are part of us, and we're rooting for you. Mia's expression softened, a seed of belief taking root in her heart. Together? Absolutely, he confirmed, adrenaline soaring through him as a picture of their newly forming bond bloomed in his mind. Then he turned to Evelyn. You know, this project isn't just for Mia. It is about us too. Is it crazy to think that this is the start of something new for our family? Evelyn smiled, eyes glimmering with vulnerability and hope. I don't think it's crazy at all. It feels like a new chapter to me. A very loud voice cut through the air. What a masterpiece! They turned to find Ms. Thompson standing in the doorway, a wide, beaming smile plastered on her face. Mia, this is amazing! I've never seen anything quite like it. Mia's face exploded with color, pride swelling as she beamed. Thanks, Ms. Thompson. We made it together. As the teacher stepped closer to appreciate the mural, Harold caught a glimpse of Evelyn, her expression radiating happiness. Suddenly, it seemed as if the canvas itself could speak. It told a story of renewal, of healing. Maybe we can display this at school, Ms. Thompson suggested, glancing between Harold and Evelyn. It could even be a part of the art show. It's the culmination of teamwork and dedication. Mia gasped, excitement bubbling over. Really? Can we? Shocked but pleased, Harold exchanged a glance with Evelyn, an unspoken question hanging between them. The possibilities unfurled like the colors on their canvas. Absolutely, Mia! Evelyn responded, the enthusiasm lighting her up. Your artwork deserves to be shared. The conversation filled the air, varied and lively, and for the first time, Harold felt like he was genuinely a part of it. As the meeting wound down, Harold marveled at the warmth radiating in the room. It was alive with laughter and hope. He had truly stepped into a new role: a father, a friend, a community member. One act of kindness, inspired by Mia's simple request, had set this transformation in motion. With every laugh, every brush stroke, every moment they embraced, they were bottled in time, carving new memories together, layer by layer. As the art show drew near, excitement crackled through the family. Mia began to prepare her speech. A thought that once made her shy was now met with determination. As practice began, Harold found himself helping her come to life, filling her with confidence. Moments at home became cherished fragments of belonging, filled with small dinners, proud displays of Mia's projects, and conversation that dug into the depths of their lives, the family bond rejuvenating at every turn. And in the once silent space of his heart, Harold discovered something new, a future glistening with potential. He reached out to Evelyn, found solace in their quiet moments by the window, and felt both individuals dancing with hope, renewal, and understanding. On the day of the show, standing shoulder to shoulder, Harold could hardly believe the smiles on both their faces. As he watched Mia delve into the crowd of curious classmates, full of life and enthusiasm, he realized something monumental. He didn't just have a daughter. He had a family, a blessing more profound than he could ever imagined. Ready? Evelyn asked, her eyes sparkling. More than ready, Harold replied, armed with the conviction that they would face whatever came together. No more shadows, just light. And as Mia took the stage, a true star in her own right, she took a deep breath, standing proud before the audience, the treasures of her heart spilling forth in stories they all could share. This was at the culmination of all the love and vulnerability they had navigated together. Harold beamed, wrapped in warmth and pride. The echoes of laughter and kindness danced around them, and in that whisper of moment, Harold understood. He had finally discovered the true essence of living. Together, they had transformed an entirely new family, birthed from love and a single act of kindness. It was just the beginning. Now is your chance to be part of the journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really powers us. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending, we want to hear from you. and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the power of uplifting each other through these actions.